All right, guys, we are live for another episode of the Winter Tilt Show. We have a big NBA slate to talk about here. 12 games, a lot of news to go over, a lot of potential, question marks, and we're going to do our best to talk about some plays we like in the prize pick board, go over last couple days for ourselves. So, let's just jump into it. Mark, how you doing, man? Ready to start the week off strong?
Yeah, I'm ready to start off the week strong because I'll start with today as being this new start of the week because yesterday I had UNC. I teased the spread, so I had UNC plus 8.5, and then I had over 141.5. It ended at 141.
Whew.
So
I've been betting UNC money line basically all tournament. I waited until they were down 7-0 and took the money line. It was like plus 300, and I didn't hedge because like there's no way Kansas comes back. So that was tough.
So this is our new start to the week then. So to start that off real quick, let's give just a little welcome to Roast Umber. So this is sponsored once again by Roast Umber. So use the coupon code DKDFS and get 20% off your coffee. Because obviously there's nothing better than a little DFS, a little PrizePicks action, a little coffee. So I need it. Yeah, there we go. We're going to get you one of these soon, too. We just have to finalize. It's not perfect yet. So, but once we have them, we'll send you over the big tumblers.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
Do you want to anything else you want to recap, or do you want to just get into the board today? Because there's a lot of stuff already. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. I mean, I think really the only recap is that the last few days have been frustrating, and I think that's just partly because with the playoffs getting closer and some teams just not having anything to play for, it's been harder to predict minutes. We saw that a lot over the weekend with the Pistons, and then just some of the guys who have been playing well kind of falling off a little bit. Like Davion Mitchell's had a rough last few.
He's been shooting awful over the last few weeks.
Yeah, so just some the last few days have been tilting, but it's a new week, and we've got baseball starting up this week, which might mean that I start every once in a while just dropping some baseball prize picks because
I know nothing about baseball, so that's all you if you feel good about stuff.
I got you, and we're 10 days from USFL, right?
April 16th or something like that, April 15th.
Close enough. Somewhere in there.
All right. So I wanted to start off here with one team that I think looked pretty interesting on this slate, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And no, I'm actually not looking to the overs here. I'm actually looking to the unders on basically everyone. And here's the reasoning, right? So they've had 9 active players last couple games, which has been one more than previously. And we just got some news here. Let's bring this up. That I think is very, very important for the Thunder. Let's see if I can find this. So it happened about a couple hours ago. We got news that they signed 2 players to 10-day contracts. Let me just scroll through Underdog here. It should be okay. So Xavier Simpson, former Michigan Wolverine, 10-day contract, and then Georgios. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, but he also signed a 10-day contract. So I see no reason why the Thunder would sign these 2 players and not play them. So with that being said, they're going to go from a 9-man rotation to an 11-man rotation. So I do like the matchup quite a bit here for Portland, but I do think with 2 extra bodies in the rotation, this could just be a situation where they play everyone like 25 minutes. And if that's the case, I think the unders are looking pretty appealing. Now, like I said, Portland is one of the best possible matchups, so it is a little bit scary. You never know. Maybe, these 2 players are not going to be available. That's why I think it's important to keep an eye on this news. But if we get that confirmation that both Xavier and Georgios are going to be active in this game, then I think it's a situation we can capitalize on taking some unders here for the Thunder guys. So that's one that I'm kind of waiting on. And if we do get that confirmation that those 2 guys are going to be active, again, that'll be 11 available players for the Thunder. And then I think the minutes could be very much in question for a lot of the main guys.
Well, I can already give you confirmation because Xavier Simpson's dad already tweeted out this morning, it'll be a true blessing to see my son run out on the floor tonight in an actual NBA game. People say never live for your kids, but when you've invested time, we've invested together from the beginning. Part of me feels as if I'll be running on the floor with him. So that was earlier today. So I feel like I like that.
So yeah, like I'll bring up the rotation last game for the Thunder too. So they did kind of still spread it out, even with 9 active players. They actually beat the Suns, which was surprising. But okay, so nine available players. You saw 30 minutes for Roby. The most was Pokuševski and Vit. They played 36 and 37. Maledon only played 27. Wiggins only played 26. Robinson Earl, they've been keeping his minutes kind of limited to 15. Waters played 23, Horde 24, and Sarr played 22. So add 2 more bodies in this rotation. The Thunder clearly don't want to win games right now. I think basically any of these, Maledon, Poku, Roby, and Wiggins, or even Vit, I think I like the under right now on all 5. And that is assuming, again, that those 2 guys play, because I think they're going to spread out their rotation. And even though I think they'll be productive when they're on the court, I'm not really confident in anyone's minutes right now.
Yeah. And I think right now OKC is they're basically battling with the Pistons, right, for lottery position. They really do not want to win this game. And they won the last game, so that was a pretty big kick in the pants for them. So definitely a game that OKC wants to lose.
Yeah, so I think the probably 2 that stand out the most to me would be the Maledon under at 32 fancy points, or the Roby under on 32, or even the Wiggins. Again, Wiggins has not really been productive, and he's only been playing like 25 minutes a game. I think Vit even looks appealing, taking the under there at 25 if his minutes are going to be slashed. Right, he's actually been playing the most consistent minutes, but he very much needs the minutes to be there, that being Vit Krejci. And if they're not, if he goes back down to like 25 minutes, I think that under looks very appealing. So I know it's scary. I know no one likes taking unders, but I think the Thunder, I wanted to bring that up first to start the show, because I think it's very important here, taking the under on these Thunder guys.
Yeah. No, I definitely think anytime I'm erring on the side of an under, I just look for the guys that are their best players and say, okay, yeah, in a game script like this where it doesn't make sense at all for them to win. I love the Pokuševski under on his fantasy score. Even when they've been trying to win, he's only hit over 36 one time out of the last 5. So definitely would hit that. I know I'm not a huge fan of an under, either are you, but there's certain days it just calls for it. It might be today.
Yep. So again, if for those 2 guys are in, that's 11 bodies. So that was one I wanted to bring up. Another one that I really, really like, I think one of my favorite plays on the board is going to be the Tyus Jones over 5.5 assists. So we've went over it, right? There's been a lot of blowouts for Memphis. So I have it up here. Where is it? Where's Tyus Jones? Okay, I brought it up. So right now he's averaging a little over 11 potential assists a game, which is not amazing. But you also had to factor in, like I said, the amount of blowouts they've been involved in. So if you take a look at the games that he has played in that John Morant has been out. So the last game John Morant played was 318. So let's look from 318 on for Tyus Jones. Again, Houston game, blowout. Brooklyn game, one of the few games that stayed competitive, he had 10 assists. The Pacers game, blowout. Milwaukee game, blowout. Golden State, blowout. The Spurs game stayed competitive. He had 6 assists in that one. Probably should have had a few more, but this is one I really, really like the over to. We do have no Ja and no Dylan Brooks, but this Memphis team has been playing phenomenal without Ja. So I think Tyus Jones, this game should stay competitive, right? I do not see them blowing out Utah. I also don't see them getting blown out here. So that is one I really, really like, Tyus Jones over 5.5 assists.
And I could go right on the opposite side of that and go with Donovan Mitchell. This is a game that Utah needs to win, badly needs to win. So I love Donovan Mitchell over on his points tonight. It's a solid over. It's been a rough stretch for Utah, and this is a game that they need to win. So I very much either like the over 26.5 or going with the first half line. I want to say, I think it's 13.5. But definitely could get down with either of those. I definitely think that's a game that Utah badly wants to win. And if they're going to do that, they're going to put the ball in Donovan Mitchell's hands.
Yeah. Like it's a good matchup, right? Memphis, they've been winning games, but they haven't been playing, great defensively. They're still giving up a good chunk of points. So I don't hate running it back with the Donovan Mitchell. Again, Utah has been really struggling of late, and I think you're going to see pretty big minutes for Mitchell and Gobert. We've been seeing that recently. The minutes tick up for some of these Jazz guys. So I want to see what are some other props for the Jazz, because let's see. Okay, like, to be honest, a Gobert at 38 fantasy points, I like that over. Again, over the last few games for Gobert. Here, let me just bring this up because I talked about him for DraftKings. I like him tonight, but these are things that I don't know if the field's necessarily looking at yet or taking advantage of. But Gobert consistently, for a majority of the season, was playing 30 to 32 minutes a game, right? And over the last few, we have really seen those minutes tick up, right? 37, 38, 36, and 38 minutes. So, sure, a few of those games were with Greg Monroe when Whiteside was out. That last game against Golden State, Whiteside was available. Gobert still played 38 minutes. So you're seeing Utah in games that are very important. You're seeing these minutes tick up. So a guy like Donovan Mitchell, I agree. I like him to have a good game today. But I think his minutes haven't really got that big bump. Whereas Gobert, you've seen the minutes bump over the last few games. So he's one I really, really like today. I think fantasy points or the PRA, just because I see them playing Gobert more unless this game turns into a massive blowout, which I really don't, because Memphis has been pretty solid. So either the Gobert or the Mitchell. I do think, again, Utah's been struggling. Those are the two that really need to step up here for the Jazz.
I can get done with either of those. So you tell me, we can put that into our slate. I definitely like that logic. So either one of those, I'm down to take.
Yeah, I think both look good. So we can figure that out at the end. But those are a couple I wanted to mention. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to mention here too for the Timberwolves is we got a good spot here in Washington. Obviously, a little bit of blowout risk, but recently just got news that Patrick Beverley is questionable. So if he's out, I think the D'Angelo Russell player props look pretty appealing. We've also seen, again, recently, this is another trend, right? Down the stretch, you're seeing some teams bump up the minutes. So D'Angelo Russell was, consistently only playing around 30 minutes a game. Over the last few, we saw 37 and 35. So if we're going to see like mid-30s minutes from D'Angelo Russell, I think some of these player props look appealing. Also, he would get a slight bump in the assist numbers. I brought it up. So that last game, he had 13 potential assists without Patrick Beverley. Over the last month, he's been averaging a little under 12. So slight assist bump there for D'Angelo Russell as well. So that's another one that we've seen his minutes kind of tick up of late. And if Patrick Beverley is out, I think some of these numbers for D'Angelo Russell would look pretty good, assuming that game would stay competitive. I think that's the only thing you'd have to worry about for D'Lo. Yeah,
and I could another one. I don't know if it's one that I would put in the slate, but it's not available yet on PrizePicks, but they'll add him eventually. Is Denny Abdia. He's been playing really, really well. Also, when Rui or Corey Kispert isn't playing as well, he plays a lot of their minutes. And so he's somebody in a high over-under game. He's been shooting really well. And even PRA, he's been playing. He's not available yet. Not really sure why. But he's somebody that I've been targeting as of recently, and he's been playing really well. So depending on where they put his PRA, I think that's a good option tonight in a game where there's not a lot of defense. So.
Yeah, Denny's played extremely well off the bench, and I think he could play a little bit in the blowout too, even if it does get out of hand. What's the spread in this game? Let me refresh.
12.5.
12.5. Okay, so yeah. I mean, you do have to factor that in, right? That's potential. These guys do play somewhat limited minutes if it does get very much out of hand.
What do you think about Steve's comment here talking about Kyrie Irving? Do you think that not only impacts Kyrie Irving, but also Bruce Brown? I see him kind of playing more of a ball handler role in a game like this.
Yeah, so let's bring up the Nets. It's obviously one of the best possible matchups here against Houston. Houston plays literally no defense. The only thing you have to factor in is I think we got like a 17-point spread in this one right now. It's very high. Where is it? Yeah, 17-point spread. So pretty good chance that this game does blow out, but That's the only thing you have to like worry about here. So let's see. He said, oh, I see Kyrie bumped up to 27.5. He said it was at 26.5. I see him in my end already up to 27.5. I mean, I agree, right? There's no Seth Curry, no Dragic. Like you're going to see KD and Kyrie just kind of do everything for this team. And if Houston can somehow keep it competitive, this could be a game, right, where you could take overs, like you can take like a 5-legger in this game and take all overs and hope it stays competitive, because basically it was the same thing I brought up for the Houston played Minnesota a couple days ago. And I was like, all right, this game obviously is risky because there's a chance some of the main guys only play 3 quarters. But if it somehow stays competitive, this game has insane upside. That's basically the same breakdown for this game. The Nets, they're not playing a lot of defense either. So like if Houston can somehow find a way to keep this game competitive, I think you could make like a 5-leg prop here with a lot of overs in this game, because KD, Kyrie, and probably Bruce Brown would be the guys that like the best. But I think there's going to be absolutely zero defense played in this game. What's the over under? It's a 244.5. Like that is insane. So I mean, like I said, I think the only thing you have to factor in is there's a chance they only play 3 quarters.
And I think that's where you can look at guys like Bruce Brown and Patty Mills as guys that could potentially get blowout burn because they just don't have guards on the bench right now. I mean, they got Cam Thomas and that's it. So you're not going to run a lineup out there of, Blake Griffin, Claxton, Kessler, Edwards, James Johnson, and Cam Thomas. They can't have just one guard out there. So I definitely think there's a chance that you get what is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, 26.5.
Yeah, so 26.5. So I guess PrizePicks said it's a little bit higher than the Bucks are right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think either of those guys, and like you said, that's a game that you can easily target as hitting the overs and just hoping that stays close, because as we know, when the Nets are supposed to blow somebody out, usually the other team either keeps it close or wins.
That's true. I mean, the Nets have been struggling. They really have. So I think if we're looking at that game, there's one guy that I do like quite a bit here, and that is Sengun. So he's going to play pretty big minutes here, right? Last game, he played, I think, like 33 minutes, I want to say. Let me just bring that up. Played 33 minutes, and he's going to be very, very productive when he's in the court. A lot of the offense is going to run through him. So, like, if you're looking at an over on the net side, I think the first guy I look to pair him with is probably Sengun. PRA would probably be the one I like the best, but he is a guy that all season I've been commenting, give him more minutes. He's going to be good. And we're finally seeing, like, the Rockets should have done it a long time ago, but they should have shut down Wood a long time ago just to give Sengun more run. But we're finally seeing it over the last couple games, him giving starting minutes. And if we're going to see like mid-30s minutes from Sengun, I think he's the first guy I look to bring it back with, probably the PRA. But any of these I think look pretty good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. None of the guys on the Nets defense are really giving me any sort of intimidation factor. Andre Drummond and Claxton are both not great defenders.
Yep. So, they're not at all. Jack brought up Greg Brown over 9.5 points. The only issue you have Portland, right, is they still have, I believe so. They listed it was Brandon Williams is questionable, but even if he misses, they should still have 10 active players because they have had 11 the last couple games. And it's been Elijah Hughes getting the DNP, them playing 10 players. So even if Brandon Williams doesn't play, they would still have 10 available players. So like they're really spreading out the minutes. Greg Brown been averaging like mid-20s minutes. So I do like the spot for him. I don't really have a super strong lean on it just because I don't see the big minutes upside for him. But I get it, right? Thunder have not been good defensively. So if that's one you feel really good about, yes. But the thing is, like, we're really not going to see a big minutes increase for Greg Brown here. I think he's kind of capped at like that 25-minute mark.
Yeah, and that's a team too that you never really know who's going to score for Portland. Like outside of Eubanks, everybody else on that team is pretty inconsistent. So there's definitely times I've looked at certain guys and I'm like, oh, this dude's easily going to get 12 points today, and then he struggles to get 3. That's just Portland in general right now. Is outside of Eubanks and then maybe like Ben McLemore. there's not really like guaranteed guys who are going to be shooting the rock. They do seem to spread it out. And it does seem to be that like one guy goes off and then, a different guy does, and it just kind of flip flops per game.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm not going to take it, but Garland, after what he did to like 4 assists that last game, been averaging like over 10 assists. I see they have him at 9.5. You already know he's going for like 15 assists in this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But that's a game that's not a fun one right there. Orlando got our arch enemy right there. You never know who's going to
get. They don't even have any props on Orlando right now.
That's a good thing. Thank God they don't. I think we can also talk about Jack's other point, Damian Jones, points over 14.5, who started off absolutely terrible the other night and then put it all together and was playing great at the end. And he's been hitting that consistently.
He's getting big minutes right now, right? That's really the thing with Damian Jones. So, they're not really giving Alex Len minutes, whether he's available or not. Like we're consistently seeing 34, like mid-30s minutes from Damian Jones. So, I don't hate it. Again, he's hit it the last few. He's been a lot more aggressive on the offensive end. I think that looks pretty good.
Are we getting news that it looks like they've already priced in Levine being out?
Did Levine get ruled out? That's actually a surprise.
I'm seeing that in the comments.
Woj, unlikely to play. Okay. Do we have Bulls props? Did they?
Yeah, I'm looking at. It doesn't seem they've got. I mean, if somebody wants to take the taco right now, the taco's 24.5 for DeMar DeRozan. The taco is known notoriously to not hit, but but you could take that. Obviously, if you want to put more money on it than they allow, then just go with the 27.5 over on DeMar DeRozan, or 17.5 on Vooch, which is pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think with Levine out, the only thing you have to worry about now is potential blowout. But, I mean, DeRozan and Vooch can do everything for the team. So I don't hate taking the overs here on either DeRozan or Vucevic, just because that is going to – it's going to be interesting to see if they add anyone else. But those two should dominate the usage. So, yeah.
Should we do they say how much you can put on the taco, or do you have to actually make the bet and then
you have to make the bet? I think it's either gonna be limited to like 10 or to 25, one of the two.
Fair. We could put in a quick taco if we want to, but that's either way, I think that's a good option. Is there anything else that stands out to you tonight?
No, I think that's it. So do you want to build out a 5-leg prop here and call it on that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to add the over that I feel the most confident in right now, and that is going to be the Tyus Jones over 5.5 assists. You good with that?
Yep, totally good with that.
Okay. Do you want to run that back with either the Mitchell or the Gobert?
Yeah. I can get down with either of those. Do you, or does anybody in the comments too? If you have anything that you feel confident in, let us know on either Gobert or Donovan Mitchell, because I can get down truly with either one of those. Steve, Jack, let us know if you've got a take on that too. Always curious to hear you guys' thoughts. But yeah, and then I would say I love the Poku under 36.
I think we can take a couple of these unders. If we already Xavier Simpson's dad said he's playing.
he did tweet that. We never know what that truly means, but it does seem like he'll be playing.
Okay. So you like the Poku the best under?
Yeah, only because he's only hit that 1 out of the last 5. So if in a game where we're not expecting them to want to win this, it doesn't seem like he would get close to that 36. 36 is a pretty decent amount anyway for him. So yeah, I can definitely get down with that. Especially because I feel like they have more big bodies than anything on their bench. So if they're going to limit someone's minutes, it does make sense to limit his.
All right. Which other? I think we can add one more, to be honest. Either maybe the Maladon or the Vit. Just because with 2 extra bodies in the rotation, I see less minutes for both.
Yeah. Let me look at. Do you have a one that you like in particular?
Probably the Maladon, just because his minutes did go down last game. The only issue I have with Maladon is he is going to be productive when he's on the court. So if for some reason they give him more minutes, he could definitely hit it. But like I said, I think there's just less opportunity here for some of these main guys with 2 extra bodies now in their rotation. Roby's been pretty bad too of late. He's such a frustrating player. I've rostered him a lot in DFS. This guy is just, I can never get him right.
He is a very frustrating player. His 32. The reason why I think their numbers are a little juiced in this is because the game that they did play really well was the game against Portland.
Exactly.
So the last game against Portland, Roby went for 55, and Poku went for 34, but still Poku did not hit over that 36. I don't know if I want to force 2 unders. It just makes me nervous anytime you have 2 unders, only because somebody's got to still do something out there. And we know Roby and Maladon can both fill it up when need be. So that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous. Is it wouldn't shock me if almost kind of like the Pistons game the other day, where a few of the guys still get decent minutes. I think Poku might be one that they with just kind of his frame and his body and everything like that, probably letting him get more rest is more important.
Okay. Let's see. Steve said 24.5. Gobert 26.5. All right. Are you good? I'm pretty high in the Gobert prop.
Yeah. So
let's see.
Do you like 38 because of the blocks?
Yeah, I think the fantasy points is one that I like quite a bit here, just because the blocks.
Yeah.
So we got over Tyus Jones, under in the Poku, and over and Gobert. So what else? What else do you like?
There is one that I like that I think we can talk about and see if it's worth putting in there. But if you look at blocks and steals, not one I do often, but Pascal Siakam is at 1.5. And he does tend to get, he's a scrappy guy on defense, does tend to get some blocks, does tend to get some steals. And outside of, Capella's not anybody who scares you on offense. And sure as hell, not TLC. So that's one where I could get down with over 1.5. It's not a lot that you're asking for. And I don't know, let me check his averages, but he has been routinely hitting that.
Yeah, what's he averaging on the season? Can you bring that up?
Pulling that up right now.
Because he is a guy that does get those peripherals a lot.
He's averaging 0.6 blocks and 1.2 steals, so essentially 1.8 on the season.
Okay, so pretty accurate line. But again, this is a game. He's playing huge minutes right now, like he's playing like 45 minutes a game. This game should stay competitive, and also it's a good matchup. So, not that a good matchup really is huge for blocks and steals, but I just think he is going to have a lot of opportunities. So I can get down with the over in blocks and steals.
Let me look at his last few. I mean, he's had 2 steals, then 0, then he had 1 steal, 1 block, then he had 5 total, then he had 2 total. So he has been hitting this pretty consistently, and the teams he hasn't hit it against have been teams that have pretty big body inside presence, like Philadelphia, Cleveland, and who was the other team? Orlando, who's got, they've all got pretty big guys in the paint. Outside of that, he does tend to hit that pretty consistently. And he has been playing, like you said, like really big minutes. His last 4, 43, 42, 40, and 47.
Yeah. I'm good with that. You convinced me on Siakam, so let's do it. Let's do the blocks and steals, see how that works.
Yeah, that's a fun stat from time to time.
Okay, let's see. Was there anything? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I mentioned that stood out. Let's see. Jack brought up Keldon Johnson over 20.5.
Do we have any news on Dejounte Murray?
Yeah, he's already out.
Okay, if he's out, I do very much like Keldon Johnson. He is definitely their second best scorer, and somebody that the only thing I guess that makes you nervous is that game definitely has a chance for blowout burn, for blowout. So you've got to it's not like they have you're going up against Jokic. So if his 3 ball is falling, then I think that has a solid chance of hitting. But you definitely have to worry about a blowout in that because Jokic is Jokic.
Yeah. I'd never get Keldon Johnson right. So I feel like that guy, um, that guy tilts me a lot. Like if I ever play him, he's just awful. So.
Well, and the teams he's been playing, like he's been hitting over 20.5 regularly, but the teams he's been going up against have been awful. Pelicans, Houston, Memphis, Portland. So it's like, yeah, he's been hitting that, but he's been playing some of the worst teams in the league. So, or just teams who are decimated by injuries. So that's one that if you think that game's going to be close, I don't mind hitting that, but I would also do that in just a one game, basically PrizePicks, because Jokic, for example, is only at 29.5. They price that like he's not going, like that game's not going to be close because he's been smashing over 29.5. But they're basically saying with that line, we don't think he's going to be playing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I mean, right now with the Nuggets too, that's another team. You're seeing the minutes increase for, not really for Jokic. He was playing mid-30s minutes, but for those secondary guys like Barton, Morris, and Gordon, they're consistently now playing like 35 minutes a game as well. So you're seeing, again, some teams down the stretch here playing these guys a little bit more, which I think is something you can take advantage of, obviously. So last one, do we want to go with DeRozan, like the taco? Or do we want to go with DeRozan like points? Because I could get down with either with Levine unlikely to play here.
Yeah, I mean, I can get down with DeRozan points or Vooch points. So I would definitely go over the taco just because the taco probably is $10 or $20, and but it always makes me nervous when they put a taco on a guy because it so rarely hits. So maybe that's a sign that we're supposed to take Vooch. But he has been playing pretty well, and I do like his PRA because the game that the last time that Levine was out, I want to say they had kept his PRA around that right around that 30 mark, and he's been hitting that pretty regularly. So I could get down with either of those. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Vucevic, like I said, is going to do a lot more offensively. We just know when one of those big three is out, the other two take a pretty big step up. So, you're going to get more minutes for Patrick Williams and Kobe White, but a lot of the offense is going to be run through Vooch and DeRozan. So, if you don't want to do DeRozan, I'm fine on the Vooch. So I'll leave that up to you.
Does anybody in the chat have an opinion on that? I definitely, Caleb, I feel good on the 24.5, but you can only put so much money on that. That's where my predicament is. So maybe it's worth, actually, if we want to get really technical, what might not be a bad idea, because I usually hit these for like 60 or $70 when I do these. So what might not be a bad strategy would be to put this in for 20. And then do another leg up and basically ladder it essentially and do the same parlay again, but with the 27.5 and do the remaining 50 so that if the taco hits and the 27.5 doesn't, you would still make all of your money back.
All right. Yeah. So let's throw the taco in there. And then if you want to do the actual points too, I think that's totally fine just because you're going to see DeRozan chuck without Levine. He's going to be their go-to guy for sure. So let's take the taco, and then you can also take the normal points as well because I think there's a decent chance as long as the game stays competitive that goes over too.
Yep. So we've got Poku over or under 36, Gobert over 38 fantasy, Tyus Jones over 5.5 assists, Pascal Siakam over 1.5 blocks and steals, and DeMar DeRozan over 24.5 taco points.
Yep. I think that looks pretty good.
All right. So, yeah, it is. It does let you put it in for 20, by the way.
Cool.
Can confirm.
All right. Let's do that. And then let's call it on that. If this one hits, let's give away some coffee. We haven't hit the 5-legger yet, so I want to give away some roast umber. So
Same here. Itching to give away some. So, let's do it. And we'll be right back at it tomorrow.
Cool. All right. Appreciate you guys watching the stream as always. Good luck tonight, and we'll see everyone back here in the next one.
All right. See you guys.